Hey there, welcome back to Plow and Pantry. It has been a busy spring season, and this week in life type of video is only half homesteady because there are a lot of other things going on right now, as is typical for spring. This was actually a couple weeks ago, and it started with a long car trip by hubby and I. We went to see our son run the Boston Marathon. He does marathon club at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, and 19 of them in the club qualified for Boston this year. So Mr. Plow and Pantry and I drove up to see them run. It was a short 3-day trip for us because we have a lot going on back at home too, but Josiah beat his goal for the marathon by 2 minutes, so we were happy for him. I did make it out a few times during the week to the garden. I'm still prepping a lot of the garden. I spent one afternoon clearing out the middle section that last year I had peppers and potatoes and onions in. It really needed to be weeded. The chickens like digging through my weed scraps. I take the bucket of weeds out to them and dump it for them. I'm not sure what I'm planting in that area this year. I'm leaning towards melons and pumpkins, but I did need to get it weeded before weeds took over. The next day I had a short bit of time outside and I grabbed a blackberry from Tractor Supply that I needed to get in the ground. I don't have great luck with those berries that come in a box from Tractor Supply or Lowe's or places like that. But this was a triple crown, which I had wanted, and it was only $5, so I was like, I'll go ahead and try it. I'm not holding out much hope, though. My blackberries are in dire need of attention. You can see the patch there is small and overgrown with weeds, but I have to be honest with myself and acknowledge that this patch probably will not be cutened up by the end of summer. I am working more on my blueberry patch this year and a couple new trees, and working on building up my fruit tree guild and a host of other things, and one can only do so much, so... On another day during this week, it was rainy and cold and I couldn't go outside, so I was working on some indoor organizing and cleaning and making a few things. I got some sour cream going. I got this book from my mother-in-law this past Christmas. I will try to get a picture of it in the screen for you and link it down below. I had wanted a book that had more of how-to with different dairy, not just cheese, but lots of dairy. And I tried its sour cream recipe a few weeks ago, and I really love it. It is very close to my favorite sour cream, which is the Trader Joe's organic sour cream. This one, there's 2 recipes in the book. This one uses whole milk, heavy cream, and cultured buttermilk, and it just sits on the counter. I like to do it for about 24 hours. It's actually really good when it's done, and it is super simple. I might never buy sour cream again. I also got some sauerkraut going. I've been craving more sauerkraut, and I didn't want to wait till I had cabbage in the garden again, and I was out of it myself. I like to put it on some of the bowls I make for lunch, and it went on sale shortly after St. Patrick's Day and stuff. And so I bought ahead, and I hadn't gotten around to making the sauerkraut, so I really needed to get this done before my cabbage went bad. I normally hand chop it, but I decided to use the food processor on this day to make it go faster because I was very limited on time. Besides the traveling and other events this week, we also had several tennis matches or track meets. Almost every night this week there was something going on. So I was limited on time, and putting it in the food processor not only saves the chopping time, but because it shreds it smaller, the cabbage will release its juices faster when you massage the salt in. So then it's done and ready to ferment on the counter sooner. I like to leave sauerkraut about 4 days when I make it myself, but everyone has their own taste preferences. The next day I was up potting some tomatoes and peppers. I had a setback several weeks ago with a surprise frost. I had seedlings sitting out on my potting bench that were hardened off already, and I was just keeping them there until it was safe weather-wise to plant them. I figured I would bring them in at night if it was supposed to drop below 40 degrees. One particular night, it was not supposed to drop below 40 degrees, but when I woke up, there was frost on the ground, and it was 34 outside. My plants didn't have frost on the leaves because they weren't on the ground, but the soil in the pots was frozen, which means my roots were frozen, and they all died, and I lost almost 300 tomato and pepper and flower babies. So these ones I was potting up were actually when I reseeded some of the other ones that I still had seeds for. So they will be smaller than normal by the time I get them in the ground, and they will be about 2 weeks later going in the ground than what is normal for me, but that's okay. I was able to restart the majority. I'd say about 80% of them I still had seeds for. And the busy week ended with prom. So my middle child is a junior, and she got to go for the first time this year, and she had a lot of fun with her date. So this week was bookended with milestones and a bit frantic, but that's kind of how it goes in the spring here. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me here on the Semi-Homestead, you guys. I really appreciate it when you spend your time with me. I'm trying to get back in the swing of videos, but it can be hard this time of year. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like these kind of videos, and hopefully you'll join me again on the next one, and hopefully I'll get the next one done soon.